Ooh.
Welcome to episode 12 of
Is it?
This Could Be Something Interesting podcast.
We didn't do
Yes,
11. You skipped 11. I swear
Are
we
you
haven't done
kidding
11.
me? How do I get it wrong every time?
I think I don't think it was 10 last time. 10 was the
1, 2,
or
3,
maybe I'm
4,
making it up.
5, 6,
I don't know.
7, 8, 9,
It doesn't matter.
10. Yep, no, it's episode 11. You're right. God damn
We
it.
shouldn't have stuck
All
to
right,
it.
episode 11 of the This Could Be Something Interesting podcast. It's been a while. We had a week off because it's been Ben's birthday.
It's been my birthday.
Ben's
That's
been
right.
gallivanting around.
I've been jumping around
What
in
did you do for your week
fields,
off?
in my pants, playing badminton, just running free. Running free. I mean, yeah, it was just so good to be just like outside and just like, honestly, like when you're in a tent, you're sort of like, when I got back, I literally looked at the house and I was like, this is so weird in here. I was like, look at all this stuff we have. But when you're in a tent, you do literally like, you're just running on something else. And like, I don't know, it's just a funny thing to come back to. It's good to be outside.
Chi.
You should go
Prana.
outside. Yeah, it's that. You spent a lot of time on the ground,
Yeah.
I was going to say cooking on the ground. I wasn't cooking. I was eating the food.
Sky was doing the cooking.
I did spend a lot of time on the ground in front of the
Nice.
fire. Yeah, no, it's good. What a dream.
Nice. Well, happy birthday.
Thanks very much.
Happy
Very
belated
kind.
birthday.
Yep. 31.
31. Fucking
How old are you?
Jesus. I don't know. I always forget. I think I'm 35 now. Pretty sure. Must be me.
Jesus. Yeah.
Am I 35?
I feel like that would
Born
be
in
year.
1989.
Yeah, when someone tells me what year it is, that's when I'm confused.
Oh,
What year are we in right now? 24. See?
24, yeah. Yeah,
I feel like
pretty
I'm in
sure
25.
Year 25.
The year 25.
I feel like I stopped counting my birthdays after I turned 18. Maybe it's intentional. Maybe it's a kind of subconscious like
Yeah,
defense mechanism.
maybe what, not confronting your own death. You're like,
Exactly,
I'm
yeah.
18. I'm still 18. I don't need to count my birthday. I don't need to do nothing for my birthday.
Well, I like to think that that's actually just when I stopped like mentally, like my mental age is still, I still feel like an 18-year-old at heart.
Do I feel like an 18-year-old? Yeah, well, I don't know. No, don't
And
think so.
actually, according to my aura ring, I am getting younger. It says my heart health
Yeah.
is apparently 10 years younger
Oh my
than I
God.
actually am, and it actually it was 10 years younger, and now it's gone down to 11 years. Your cardiovascular age is below your actual age. Yeah, it was 10 years, and now it's gone down to 11 years. I'm like reverse aging.
What's the trick?
I don't know.
What the fuck is going on?
Filtered water.
Filtered water. Really? Do you think that's...
I did get a zero filter the other day.
What's that?
It's basically a water filter, but it's just like a super insane, like literally gets everything out of the water.
But you do
it's
want
really-
some things in the water.
Well, yeah, that's the interesting thing about it. So there's this whole thing because it literally takes everything out. So it strips out all the minerals, like everything. But then you can't. But then this is the whole thing. Like you can't really get. You can't kind of whenever you use water filters, you can't choose what to take out, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of them will opt not to take everything out to keep some minerals in. But then you end up getting all these forever chemicals and all these nasties and stuff that also stay in there. So it's kind of like, well, if you're going to filter it, what's the point doing a half-assed job if you've still got all these nasty chemicals? So another school of thought is that where you can just filter it to like zero kind of solids in there, and you actually get a testing stick with it, and you can kind of measure it versus tap water. It's really interesting, actually. So it goes down to literally zero, and then you can re-add the minerals. So I put like a pinch of pink Himalayan salt in there because it's got loads and loads of different minerals in pink Himalayan salt.
This is fucking crazy.
Well. Yeah. I have no idea if that's anything to do with my cardiovascular age. Probably nothing to do with it.
Yeah, you're just bragging about your delicious
my
fresh
new
water.
Zero water. Exactly. Yeah. Hashtag not an ad.
Yeah.
If you want to sponsor the podcast, feel free. If anyone at Zero Water is listening,
either that or this is just still the ad.
Exactly, yeah. This is just a really long ad. I mean, this has been quite a long intro because we were going to talk today about surrender, the topic of surrender.
Surrender. Yeah, good word, huh? Surrender,
yeah,
surrender.
I feel like we always kind of talk about like the words. I guess any like a podcast. What is a podcast if not a bunch of fucking words in your ear holes?
Yeah.
Like that is literally what a podcast is.
That's what you're doing.
Words in your
like,
ear.
oh yeah, words in my ear. Oh yeah. Hey, what's a podcast? That's how you describe it to people. Some people hear voices, some people listen to podcasts. It's just fucking words in your ear hole.
Exactly. Yeah, but anyway, so surrender is a really interesting one, and I think. It's always something. To me, there's a bit of a paradigm of surrender because as I've been on, my whole meditation stillness journey over the past however many years it's been now, you're always faced with this kind of paradigm of like, human striving. Like we're always striving for things, even if it's just out of our own human needs, right? To survive, to eat. Like there is a need to strive. But then this whole concept of surrender is like surrendering, like letting go of that outcome, letting go of that need to strive. And so it kind of ends up in this weird kind of paradoxical situation where it's kind of like, how can you have both of those? So I always find it really kind of an interesting concept. And the way I have approached it, or I try to approach it, is almost from a kind of place of, striving as in, it's almost like when people say you can kind of work toward an outcome but still be unattached to that outcome. Do you know what I mean? You're going through the process and you're kind of enjoying the process, but you don't need that outcome to happen. Where I think, and that's where surrender becomes very useful, because like anything, right? If you are completely attached, it's like even if you wanted to say, let's say you wanted to learn guitar. If you do your first guitar lesson and you're completely attached to the outcome, that first guitar lesson is going to be so traumatic for you, you'll probably never go back because you're just going to be judging yourself based on this outcome that you want. Right? So there's always that kind of balancing act. I don't know. What do you think about surrender?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a game of letting go. I guess throughout your life, you just continuously grab onto the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and it's kind of just about you just have new things that you pick up, and then the continuous game is you have these new things that you then put down again, you let go of, because they carry you, that thing that you hold on to, an idea, who I am, how I live, values, and you pick them up, and then you're suddenly like, okay, no, they're not me. I put a name to them, I put an idea to them, and therefore you never see that thing again. You never see something come up in its own natural way. What's that thing? It's like when they tell you, oh, what's that? And they go, oh, it's a bird. It's like you never see a bird again. You just see your thoughts. You just see what you were told. And I guess it's that kind of letting go again. And suddenly you're like, oh, okay, yeah, because it's exactly that. I mean, all of it. It's just surrender is I think there's a bigger scale idea of that, and then there's also just the continuous little surrenderings that you do throughout the day. It's this big goal, maybe in life or your ideals or something, but then there's just general, like, you will get annoyed about things that are happening in the moment. You know what I mean? And that's a current identity. So I guess it's that continuous game of surrender. Yeah, nice. It's it's a fascinating one.
There's a really one of the things that prompted it is there's a really awesome book by a guy called, I think it was Michael Singer who wrote it. He also wrote a book called The Untethered Soul. He did a book called The Surrender Experiment, and
Oh yeah,
it
yeah,
was.
yeah. I think I
Have you ever
wanted to
read that?
find that. I think I was trying to, yeah, I was trying to find it on uh audiobook. I wanted to get it. I think maybe Sky had it.
It's a fascinating
Oh no, you've
story.
told me
It's
about it. We've also got Letting Go, which I think, have you read Letting Go?
that by Michael Singer as well.
Mm, nah.
No, Letting Go, I think, is by The Pathway to Surrender.
This is Letting Go, David R. Hawkins.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Pathway to yeah, yeah. That's a different one, but yeah, I mean, I think it's a similar thing.
they kind
The
of
thing
go.
that they're kind of similar concepts. I mean, the interesting thing with the the untethered soul, the surrender experiment. It literally he kind of documents his life and this whole, I can't remember if it was like 10, 15, 20 years it took place over, and it's just really fascinating to see just this unfolding of events taking place. You know how like you know how people say, like, if you, it's really easy to look back on your life and see how all of these things that seemed bad in the moment have kind of helped you become the person you are today, and have actually, a lot of the things you thought were bad were actually blessings in disguise, but you couldn't see it at the time. It's really
Yeah,
fascinating to see that through somebody else's experience. The way he's telling his story in his life, you're kind of like, oh my God, that's awful. Like, this sounds really bad. And then, he says what happens next, and you're like, oh. And it's just it's almost like getting to see somebody else's lived experience, but through this really macro lens of
hmm,
like, oh wow. And it makes you reflect on your own life, and it almost gives you like permission to think like, it is okay actually when these things happen, and it gives you that assurance of like, life just has the weirdest way of working things out, and there's always going to be these ups and downs, and
hmm.
and it's almost, and this was the thing with it as well. It's kind of like, as long as you have a kind of clear, I guess the right word is intention, and it's almost like, yeah, like an inner intention, I think, for kind of the direction you want your life to go in. Situations will manifest in that direction. And this is where I think, I can't remember if we talked to Rach, I think, when we had Rach on, right, about the law of attraction.
Hmm.
And it's not like you just sit there and have an intention and then don't do anything. Obviously, nothing's going to happen. But I think situations externally, from what I've noticed, like, if you have that intention, situations will present themselves
Yeah,
in that direction for you to take action on.
yeah.
And I guess if you boil this down, and it's, that all sounds a bit woo-woo for you, it's almost like, if you have that internal intention, you are tuned in to looking for certain opportunities in the direction of your intention that you might have otherwise missed, because there are always a billion opportunities out there. And this is the thing with life. This is why we have that part of our brain called the reticular activating system, and its job is to literally exclude sensory input so we can kind of focus on the things that we deem are important to us. There's billions of bits of information constantly. We can't take that all in, so we have to choose what to take in. So by setting your intention, that's when you, quote unquote, manifest these situations, these people, these circumstances that you've otherwise been blind to. It's kind of like, for people,
Hmm.
and sometimes I think you can have an unconscious intention. It's like people who are always angry at the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you are in a state, maybe let's call it a state instead of an intention.
Or
If you're
even
in a
just
state where
generally
you're
like,
angry at the world, you're going to find more and more reasons to be angry, because that's
of
what you're
course, and
you're
also just,
tuned into that.
yeah, and it's also even just like, I think that's the kind of like, even like being anxious. You're
It's true.
you're anxious for the world, so it will of course you'll produce more of that because you're already seeing it in things, and when you see the good in things, you'll see more of that thing. It's just like such a funny shift in you know, because that's the thing. It's also just yeah, no, that's funny. It is.
And I think that is then where, and this is kind of where this kind of book went of like, it's like he's still putting things out there. He's still like, oh yeah, this is my intention, this is what I want. Let me go out there and do this thing. And it's kind of like, okay, now I'm just gonna surrender to what the universe, whatever happens next.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
this is where, and I couldn't really understand this from the book. I couldn't really see a pattern to it. And maybe, you know, I remember thinking at the time because I listened to the audiobook as well, and when I was listening to it, I was thinking maybe I'm probably overthinking this. Like, this is probably the whole thing of like surrendering. Like, I'm literally just overthinking it. But it's kind of the question I was always asking myself is, yeah, but like if you've got an intention and you want to do something, like, do you stop at do you just like, so let's say for example, you know, I want to, like, let's take the business for example, because it's something very like relevant to me. Let's say for example, I want to get like a particular new client and I send them a message and I you know, they don't respond. Does that mean surrender? You've sent them a message, job done,
Yeah.
see you later kind of thing? Or does what and this is the way I've taken it to mean, is that I'm not going to be attached to that outcome, but I think like, hey, maybe they just didn't see that message. Let me drop them a message on LinkedIn. Let me send them a quick voice note. Let me DM them. And I think again, it comes down to that intention of, am I doing this from a place of anxiety and like, oh God, like I need them to respond. I really need them to respond.
I really hope that works out.
Exactly. Versus like, I don't care either way, but it would be super cool if they, you know, I wonder if there's another, and almost seeing it as like this fun challenge. So you're kind of surrendering to because that's the thing, you can surrender to work as well. You can kind of, or play. You can surrender to, depends how you see it. You can surrender to this. So play as in, and I actually see a lot of what I do. I was having this conversation with Jane the other day. I see a lot of what I do as play. You know, when I'm making content or when I'm solving problems in the business, I do see that as play. It's this kind of, it's this exciting thing for me.
Oh, yeah,
when Jane sees a problem, it's like, oh my God, we need to fix this. And I'm kind of like, no, this is, it's like a Rubik's Cube. Like, how do we solve this?
Well, I think there is something really funny about just the concept of play itself and make games. You know, we play games for fun, even just like as a subject. We do these things because they bring us joy. It's like, and life is a bit like that. It is a bit like just a series of symbols and puzzle solving, right? It's what you do. You're just maneuvering. You're like, I've learned this idea that allows me to perceive things, and so now I'm going to solve problems with this idea of. Like, you know, that's, I guess that's the language. You learn an idea, and then you're tackling through that. Yeah.
Yeah, so true. That's so interesting, isn't it? Like, I think it's such a, it's really interesting frame, I guess, to view life through. Like, I think frames are really powerful, actually. Like having different frames in which you view life, like viewing these situations as games and as puzzles to solve, as opposed to. And I guess that comes down to framing is similar to what we're always talking about with words, right? Like the negative connotations that come with words. Like if you refer to something as a problem or a challenge, it's now like, oh God, this is like a negative thing. Whereas if you see it as like a game, you know, or a puzzle, I mean, it depends on, maybe you've got a negative relationship with puzzles. So might
oh God, what is this paradox?
Puzzles.
Oh yeah, I mean that's one hell of a thought. I mean, you might have a negative relationship towards puzzles.
But even, do you know what's interesting though? Even like bringing it back to surrender, even that word surrender, I think can have negative connotations, especially I think for people who I don't know, and I guess this is going to be a kind of societal and also maybe a kind of upbringing thing, but a lot of people are told,
Yeah.
like, don't give up, don't surrender,
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
got to
yeah.
keep trying. So this idea of like a white flag, like I give up kind of thing,
I
that's
guess it's
kind of
like
how a lot of
surrendering
people could
seems
perceive
like
weak
getting rid of
almost.
that identity that you've
Mm,
maintained, and you're like, this is who I am, and you're telling
mm,
me to let it go, and I worked hard
mm,
to
mm.
build this thing, and well, I guess that's exactly it. It's the same when you offend someone. I was like, well, you don't really do anything. They're upset because you've almost like hurt their idea of themselves. It's like, oh, I believe in that thing, and that hurts my my values. So
Mm.
you've sort of offended their identity. When you offend someone, you're offending something. It's part of them, you know,
Yeah.
and that's
And
what
I
you're
think
putting down. Yeah,
for sure, yeah, and I think that's the biggest distinction as well, is that like surrendering to something is not the same as giving up on something.
yeah,
That's like I think
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the most important distinction here. It's not it's like we were saying earlier, right? It's kind of surrendering to needing that particular outcome and
Yeah.
just surrendering to the process
Hmm.
of doing that thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's so many forms of, you could because you literally can, right? You could surrender to the process. Like, let's say, I don't know, let's say you want to become a bodybuilder, right? you
Hmm.
can you can surrender this idea of, like, you might want to be the next Mr. Olympia,
Yeah.
but you can surrender that idea and you can actually surrender to the process, almost like committing your life, like throwing yourself into the process, because you can commit and like surrendering of, like, I surrender myself to this process. I surrender myself to going to the gym every day, to eating the right foods every day, to, like,
Hmm.
there's so many different things you can surrender to.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily like you're giving up. It's like, what are you choosing to surrender to? What are you choosing to go all into? To
There's a
jump into that sea almost, right? Of whatever it is.
there's a lyric from Mac Lethal in that Mozart song. And at the end of it, he says, you need to lose your ego if you want to gain momentum. I
Mm,
just thought that's great. I thought that was so. I mean, that's kind of it. It's like it's true. You can have your thing, but all this ego is there. It's actually going to be the very thing that's probably stopping the real progression. You need to let go and do it for something else.
mm.
Momentum, speed, because you're not holding yourself down by any ideas.
Yeah, I like that. That's a really cool visualization, actually, of like being kind of almost like
Yeah,
having
yeah.
shackles
That's such a
around
good
your
lyric.
ankles of like an
Yeah,
ego, and it just like
yeah,
slowing
yeah,
you
yeah.
down.
And
And
it's like, especially particularly in a skill or an art form, and your identity in that, and then you lose your ego. If because you stop all this areas of restriction. You're not tied
mm,
down by anything. You're not an
mm,
idea, and it allows complete freedom, and completely no shits given to just
mm,
just do whatever the hell is meant to come out. I guess a lot of particularly creatives and artists will gain a lot from relating, surrendering to their art form, to their
mm.
particular skill. Because I guess also, I guess that because it's also continuously once you go, like you said, it's sort of fed through the society that you kind of should build up that you should create that identity, you should invest into that, and be it's kind of fed as a narrative rather
Mm,
than like if someone said like, oh, pick your specialization and then lose your ego in it. No one's saying
mm,
that. They're like, pick your specialization and then yeah, you fucking show everyone. And it's that kind of relation, isn't it? Of exchange where it's about that. It's about like, yeah, look at me doing this thing.
mm.
And when you kind of let go of that, you're like, actually, why am I doing it? It's not literally for
Mm,
anyone else. This is just a projection of just creative. I mean, that's what creativity is, I guess, isn't it?
mm,
It's not a, um, nature producing itself isn't judging itself. It goes for a series of failed attempts
mm,
until arriving at a more probable conclusion for its survival. Like that's how nature grows. There's nothing perfect in nature. It's just a series of failed attempts, and that's the same with just humanity. It's just we just
mm,
continue to fail in these areas, and that's why we progress. There's nothing perfect, and maybe plants and animals they become extinct. That's just generally it evolves.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think particularly in, I guess, and maybe that's what we learn. Maybe that's what we learn from being in different environments like nature. Like I said, I was camping, and that was very good. That was very nice, and that was definitely kind of like you're so busy all the time when you're inside,
Mm.
and it's just really nice to honestly just like actually just look at a tree, because that was just like the view. That's just like the view you have, and it's just sort of like it's just something. Yeah, it's very nice about it. I think.
The word that's kind of coming up for me, like it almost as like a what feels like the opposite of surrender is resistance.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like I was just thinking like what you were saying about being in the outside and camping and stuff, and if you are somebody who maybe I don't know you don't like being at you like your kind of what are they called like homely comforts or whatever,
yeah.
your clean toilet or whatever it is, clean shower. um
You're like,
it
oh
it,
yes,
it
my clean
it
toilet.
it's like you kind of have to you like if you are outside you're going to naturally feel a lot of resistance, or you can surrender to that experience of
Yeah, yeah,
being outside. And and I think that's always a good signpost of like, do you need to surrender? If you feel any internal resistance toward a situation, that's a sign that there is something there to surrender to, or something
yeah,
there to be let go of. And it's just a question of what is it you need to surrender to or let go of.
yeah, yeah. And I guess that was also like you're right. Even there's maybe like emotions. An emotion comes up, and you fight
Mm,
it. I don't want to look at this emotion. I don't like it. Or you can surrender to it and not like ignore it. It's just like, well, like, how does this make me feel?
mm,
And actually, look at it rather than being like, oh no, I don't like this thing. It's like anxious. I'm going to do the thing that makes me not feel that thing. And it's actually
mm,
just let go. Okay, you feel whatever comes up doesn't matter, you know. And I guess I mean, and those are the kind of things that are continuous practices uh, of letting go throughout the day. These micro ones, they come up. The brain will supply you with new things to let go of,
mm.
and also, and maybe in a larger scale output. But I guess in terms of just the relationship with the brain, is it will bring those things as as just the general exercise.
Yeah, yeah. Because this is the kind of the funny thing with all of this, right? Is that it all boils down to the fact that we think we know what's best. Like us humans, we always think we know. Do you know? And that's another reason actually I loved this book, because it's just such a great reminder as well of like you see these things, and you even as you're listening to it, you're like, yeah, what he's doing there, that's definitely that needs to happen, otherwise he's fucked, kind of thing.
Hmm.
And then it doesn't go to plan, and you're like, oh god, like he's screwed. And then something amazing happens, and it's like that would never have happened if he got his way.
Hmm.
And it's just so profound being able to repeatedly see that happen through somebody else's life, because again I feel like it happens to us all the time, and it's only when we look back in retrospect, if someone asks, oh, can you see how you put all those pieces together, and you're like, yeah, okay. But seeing it in this like almost like real time as you're reading the book, listening to the book, it's like it's just such a kind of profound reminder of that, and how, again, we think, I need to get this job, I need to achieve this goal, like if I don't, my life's everything depends on this. No, you don't understand, like everything this needs to happen, otherwise I'm screwed. You don't get it. You don't, that's always the story we tell to ourselves, we tell to others. But then you have no idea, like there's always that question of like, what if that didn't happen and something even better happened that you can't even imagine right now? Mm-hmm. What if by this outcome that you're so attached to right now, what if that could be your worst flipping nightmare? I love Gary, I think it was Gary Vee. He did a video a little while ago on choice. I really loved it. It was such a powerful video. It's one of the most powerful videos I've seen, and it was kind of like it was saying this very thing. He was kind of saying, like, we think there's actually such a thing as a good choice. Mm-hmm. Like, so many people are haunted by the choices they make. Like, oh, I made the wrong choice. Oh God, I screwed that up. Oh, I made the wrong decision. He's like, are you serious? Like, you really think you have any idea, or any of us, like, what is a good choice? How do you know? And he gave this example of, like, let's say you wanted to get this job and you screwed up the job, and it's like, oh yeah, but I could have been in this high flying career. My life would have been so different. I would have been with the person of my dreams and this. And he's like, maybe, but you could have also got on a plane to go to that new job, and the plane fucking crashed and then you died.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
that's literally true. Like, you could have been hit by a car, you could have been blown up in a terrorist attack. Like, you have no idea what could have happened.
Or just generally of not led to the better life. Could have just easily as well not led to anything amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And it could have led to you being depressed. It could have led to mediocre. Like, you just have no idea, like, what the alternatives would have been. And I remember seeing that, and it's like, there's actually, when you remind yourself of that, there's a real peace in that. A real peace to anything that happens. If you can kind of remind yourself of that quick enough, and just get into the habit of reminding, like, actually, okay, I think this situation that happened is bad, but I have no idea what else could have happened, or what this situation is eventually going to turn into.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that is, I guess, in the purest sense, that is what surrender is. Mm-hmm. It's kind of letting go to those things that happen. And yeah, I think it's not like necessarily, oh, I'm just going to stop doing this.
Yeah.
That's
and
what
the brain
want
was meant to do that as well. It's meant, exactly. And the brain will do that. It wants you to get the right decision. It wants you to do the right things. That's how we got where we are, really. Like, we kind of need that part of the brain to ponder on the possibility of what's better. And I guess there's a point where maybe the brain just makes that a repetition, and you hold on to it more and more, rather than surrendering to it. You think in your life you're a pretty surrendered human?
I think I am, actually. Yeah, I think there are definitely a lot, and this is a thing. Like, I can always tell when I need to surrender to something, because I can feel like an internal resistance. But I think for the most part, and my kind of North Star as to whether I'm surrendered to something is, do I feel happy? Mm-hmm. Do I feel content? Do I feel joy inside, or do I feel a lot of resistance and discomfort? Yeah. And 99% of the time I do feel joy and happiness and fun, and like, this is really interesting. And don't get me wrong, there are times where, like, a situation happens and I feel, my reaction is one of clinging, aversion, resistance, like, I don't want things to happen. I wanted this to happen, and that is the initial reaction I have. But I'm very good at now seeing that and thinking, actually, I have no idea. Like, I can very easily, when I see that now, trust and be like, actually, this is probably a blessing in disguise, because 9 times out of 10, 9.9 times out of 10 in my life.
Yeah.
It always is. It's like, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, that's nice.
How about you?
I'd say I'm a surrender human being. Yeah, I mean, I say so. I mean, like, I definitely, um, just enjoy being silly a lot, to be honest.
Mm,
But I like talking about play, and I like doing that because that's the real reality of things. That is the real
mm.
reality. It's all you get this body and you get to experience things, and you're like, oh, this is actually really, really fucking silly. You invest in all this, angst about it. It's like all of it. And I like play and just certain silliness is probably somewhere just sneaks in there somewhere between in surrender. It's just sort of letting go enough to recognize that this is all it is fun
Mm.
because it's just so abstract. We've really put our attention on the meaning of all this stuff. And you're sort of like, it can be anything. I could totally just talk. We could talk absolute. It's like when you look at life sometimes and it's just watching interdimensional cable.
That's a really interesting point, actually, of like, you know, surrendering and not. I don't know. Yeah, I guess like how can you not surrender? How can you not or feel this sense of fun and play from surrendering?
Hmm.
Because it's almost like, and there's another word here as well of like, what kind of word that I was just thinking of? It's like I don't know what the word was. It's escaped me, but it's another word for like giving up, of like, I'm done. And I think that's what a lot of people kind of think of as surrender. It's like, yeah, I'm done with life. Some bullshit. But that's like a kind of almost like a throwing your toys out the pram, as opposed to really, because you're then still being weighed down by something, as opposed to being liberated. Like, it should be a liberating feeling, right? I think when you surrender, and that liberation does naturally bring this sense of expanse.
Hmm.
And yeah, like, and I think when you're in that kind of more expanded state, like, things do become fun and playful, and you're because then possibilities exist. It's almost like it's like people say with kids, because kids don't have the conditioning and the beliefs that they then develop as adults. Everything is play and everything is fun.
Hmm.
It's not that kids don't cry. Like, kids still cry and they throw tantrums, but you can put a kid in a new environment and they're going to be like, oh, what's that? Like, they're like just
Yeah.
fascinated by everything.
Hmm.
And that, I think, is what happens when you surrender to, like, I have no idea about anything.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess it's what's that? The more you the more you own, the more you're owned. And I guess it's like, and that's not
Mm.
just like literal things. I mean, like, the more you own these beliefs that you hang on to, the more
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah,
owned by them. You're tied
yeah.
down by these, like, because they make up your reality. So the more you hold on to all of these things, the more you're actually restricted by all of these things. You're owned by those concepts. You know.
Mm. I think
Um,
that's a really good way of putting it, actually, because yeah, I get, because like you say, like, it doesn't necessarily, like, you could have a lot of possessions, but if you don't mentally own those possessions, they don't necessarily own you,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, you could have those possessions, but if you can easily let go of them,
yeah,
they don't own you. Whereas if
yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah,
because it's almost like an identity thing, right? Of like, to what you're saying is like, what the beliefs that you hold on to as your identity, or
hmm,
this is my thing, I need this is who I am.
hmm,
That does, then, to your point, that owns you.
yeah. They
It's
own
really
you. Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that. That's Peter Joseph for you.
Is it?
Peter Joseph.
Yeah,
Good,
it's a
good old,
very
good
interesting.
old Pete.
I've been following him on Instagram.
Oh, he's an angry guy on Instagram. You
He's
got He's
so
so angry.
angry.
Oh my God, don't follow him on Instagram. Where did
No, I know. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
I need to unfollow him.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like
I,
it's. My mum, my mum was saying it, and it was like I was like, you're literally getting the worst. Like, because he's clearly fucking angry, right? And like
mm,
these films are like why they're so good because there's a lot of anger there, and he can put it into
mm,
this amazing thing, this art form. But like he's clearly like not well on these platforms, because
mm,
I think loads of people get caught in that. And I think if you really like do see that bigger picture and care about that in that kind of way, it does hurt. Like because I think he's just really facing it. He's really like invested into, cares deeply about the world and wanting to
mm.
make it better. So it does hurt. He's so invested to like we need this shift in what we're paying attention to. But it's yeah, he's so angry on it. Yeah, yeah, don't follow him on there. I think he got kicked off of Twitter actually.
Mm. Yeah, very angry man. But yeah, no, I do like, his movies he's done and stuff. They're very thought provoking, and
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
think like, he's clearly a creative genius. But I guess that's the thing, right? Like you say, like a lot of these people, like the most renowned creatives and pioneers and inventors, artists of our time of history
mm,
have been typically very troubled, not necessarily troubled, but they've all been a little bit kind of, not certainly not what would be considered like, normal by
yeah,
societal standards. Like
yeah,
there
yeah.
are some form of things that have happened in their life where they've just, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, to see things like that, to really,
Mm,
to take a good stare at the bigger picture, because there are a lot of people that just don't necessarily even think about these things, like big talk. I mean, I do it to people all the fucking time. People come for coffee, and I'll like, I can start talking to them about the fucking meaning of life, and they're like, "I just want a fucking coffee." It's like half
mm.
seven in the morning, but
I was
big talk.
listening to book on ADHD recently, and they were talking there about how, like, people really actually hate small talk, and they
Is that
they always
right?
want to talk. They always want to talk about like big concepts. So it's like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
it's
funny.
almost like, for most people, they expect the small talk of like, how's the weather, and you're like, how's life? What's the
Yeah,
meaning of life? And they're kind of like, what? I don't
yeah,
know what
yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking. It's like you're speaking a completely foreign language to them.
I think that yeah,
Um,
I'm definitely exactly that, and you first kind of see it,
mm,
yeah, in people's faces. But I think it also, I quite like. I think maybe just through working in time and working in those jobs, is you begin to also realize how sort of genius small talk is, and just how funny it is. It's just sort of
mm.
like we just love talking about the weather. First we go to is related values. We're like, I'm experiencing the weather. Are you experiencing the weather? And they're like, yeah, that feels like this to me. Yeah, it feels like this to me too. It's like, a fish describing the water or something. It's a bit like, well, it's more bubbly today. That's what we're finding. This connected
Lots of
value.
bubbles today,
Oh,
old
lots of
chap.
bubbles today. Oh God. But it's just something so gentle and actually quite caring about small talk, because you're sort of
Mm,
like, okay, I can see that you don't want to talk, but it's this really light thing that's nothing to do with either, or it's not too personal. It doesn't ask too much
mm,
of an exchange, but so there is like a hilarious kind of language and art. It's like the words that you're saying compared to what like the exchange of energy and the what you're actually saying. It's like body
I, g-
language. It's very
I
subtle.
think because it's also quite what's the word? It's quite. I think you almost have to be willing to be quite vulnerable to even entertain those kind of conversations, right? Because it's exposing maybe for want of a better word, to have those, particularly with a stranger. And that's what they were kind of saying. That's what Jess was saying in this book of like, you know, it is a, it's quite a deep, like you have to, there has to be a lot of trust, you know, for neurotypical people. It's kind of like, I'm not going to talk with the meaning of life with anyone. Whereas ADHD people are just like, hey, I'll talk with anyone about this stuff. I'll talk with anyone about anything. Like I'm an open book kind of thing. Right. And so it's almost like, you know, I gave that really bizarre analogy, and I don't know why this analogy keeps coming to mind, but it does seem to just be a very relevant analogy of kind of like, you know, if we're all walking around with like bathrobes or towels on and it's just like ripping someone's towel off, being like, hey, we're all naked under here. Like we're just like exposing ourselves. But it is, right? It's kind of like, because if you think of small talk as like the mask, like our societal masks that we wear. So when you ask someone a question like that, you're kind of taking their mask off, you're undressing them, and they're like, yeah.
I wasn't ready for this.
But that's what it is, right? You're kind of like, you're throwing them into this thing. They're like, hey, like I'm leave my fucking clothes on. I'm not ready to get intimate with you yet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, totally. That's in the framework, isn't it? The framework. There's a certain. I mean, this is like I don't know if I'm going to describe it very well, but I got given a book by mum, and it's called The Salt Path, and it's about like they have to go on a walk
The Salt Path.
The Salt Path, and because they lost everything, they lost their farm, and they basically had nothing. So they decided just to walk and live in a tent, and I guess it's about that. It's about letting go. I mean, what were you just saying before that?
Before what?
Before what were you just saying? What were you just saying a second ago? What were we just saying? What was the original subject?
About the towels and the bathrobes.
Nah, it's gone straight into the ADHD bubble. It's disappeared. And there's something to do with that book, but if it comes back to me, I'll remember in a second. But yeah, that book is about letting go. But I don't know how I was going to connect it to the previous story. It's gone far away.
Interesting. Yeah, just Googled it, The Salt Path.
Yeah. No, it's interesting.
Salt Path is an honest and life-affirming true story of coming to terms with grief.
They become like homeless, and I was thinking about like what it mean. There's this bit where they spoke about being homeless and like law that came in, you know, and it's basically just like how like there are all these laws. It's like basically you're not allowed to be a free person. Like the fact that we can't wild camp, because you're not a product of England, you're not a product of your government, you're not a product of your nationality, you're not any of these things. You're a product of the earth, and to make that so ridiculous connection between like, you can't camp wildly. It was like you're born here, like you're on Earth. You're a product of that thing, and like the way that homelessness we've kind of related. We've created a word that is negative. Homelessness is negative, but technically, there's nothing wrong with being homeless. If you're homeless and you're a wanderer, like we create this idea of drugs and alcohol and negativity and all this stuff. So I was like, but technically, if you can be a free human being, you are allowed to be a free human being outside of having a job, outside of all of those rules, just sort of like, and we've created this world where technically you're not allowed to do that. And if you are that, you're homeless, which is in relation negative. And we have this idea about what homelessness is. I just thought it was such an interesting description of, I don't know, just maybe the way that we see homelessness and what we all are, which is not like, we should not be tied down by any job, any location. You should be allowed to wander. We are wanderers.
What's that movie? I think it's the book as well. Is it Into the Wild?
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Where that guy...
Doesn't
he die in the end? Because he has he eats some bad poisonous
berries.
Mushroom or something.
Yeah, he eats some bad berries and no one's there. He's in the middle of nowhere, so he just dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I think that's such a great ending though. Like, I mean, not like obviously it's not a great ending, but I mean, that's just like real.
It
Like,
is so
you know,
interesting
that
though.
can
It's
happen.
like
You can just,
think of that. It's like when you talk about letting go though. Sort of this idea of like it's like, and I think this book relates to it. It's like this idea of like, okay, I haven't got anything, so I'm just gonna walk.
mm,
Do you know what I mean by that? All these things that you own, instead you just walk. When you're hungry, you eat. When you're tired, you
mm,
sleep. You know, I think there's something in that.
mm,
You should be able to do that. You know, that is an interesting idea. We stay in this one place. We should just freedom to. It's even like passports, and I get it to whatever certain extent. Maybe but like you shouldn't need anything to really travel. You're not these things. I do understand the idea of it, but you shouldn't. You actually shouldn't. And we still seem to think no, you definitely do need that. Well, I don't know. Like really, like you should be able to. Like you go anywhere. These borders and rules and structure. And it's like you're not a product of any location.
mm. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And I guess it comes back down to that thing there, right? Because this is a whole thing, like of this whole topic of surrender is like it just depends what you like. Where do you feel like your resistances lie? You know, I think if you are enjoying striving towards what you are striving toward, you probably don't need to let go of that thing. And I don't think also like we should ever, I don't think there's like a right thing or right way of surrendering. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like we should surrender to a particular thing. It's like, no, whatever your heart desires and whatever your heart kind of gravitates towards. And as long as you feel joy in the pursuit of that thing and you're not kind of attached to this outcome, there's not resistance there, amazing. You know, if that's for some people going and living out in nature, amazing. If for someone else it means traveling the world, for someone else it maybe, you know, means starting this big business empire, cool. Like what, but and the North Star is like, do I feel resistance about this thing? Do I feel this clinging, this need, or is this like a joyful, liberating experience? And if it is, then you surrender to that experience. So there's so many different expressions, and that's a beautiful thing about humans, right? We're all our own unique individual expressions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that can manifest in many, many ways.
Yeah. 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 Do you?
But what the fuck do we know?
What the fuck do we know?
It's funny, like sometimes I catch myself on like one of these like rants, and then I'm like, I'm saying all this stuff like so convincingly, but actually I have no fucking idea.
Oh, it's exactly it. It's honestly, it's the same in the coffee shop. Sometimes like you just get this art of just like, because sometimes I'm like, my brain does drift and just like I could just forget. Oh, I just didn't hear them. There's been times where I was deaf and I was literally, the whole day, I didn't stop chatting to people. I couldn't hear anything. And then I just said what I just spoke really confidently.
Yeah.
And just said a load of things and kind of just nodded when they said stuff, and then just had a conversation. And it was it was just a willingness to just go for it anyway, you know.
I can't, who was I speaking to about this? I think it might have been Jane actually. She was always like, I'm always so like baffled by how you can speak so confidently about anything, yet in the same sentence you can literally say like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but it sounds so believable. Like I think we both kind of got that of like you know, I've been told that I'm very like persuasive and I can be very convincing on things, and I think it just like, do you express confidence in the way you talk?
Yeah,
but it's not like it's not like I'm trying to manipulate. It's just I'm passion. It comes from a place of passion and excitement, and like that, and that then comes across as this kind of confidence. And people are like, "Wow, you clearly know what you're talking." This is a funny thing, like, and that's what people say. They're like, "You clearly know what you're talking about," and I'm like, "Oh no, I have no fucking idea." I'm just making all this shit up, but it's great fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, man. That's life, really. That's surrendering.
Yeah,
That's making up stuff with real confidence.
exactly. But this is like, and I always say this to our clients. Well, it's like marketing, and this is what I love about marketing as well. And I'm a real proponent of this. And like, humans are unpredictable. There's so many books written on
Yeah.
consumer psychology, human behavior, and why people do the things they do. And okay, yeah, there certainly seems to be indicators, and these are processes we put in place in the business when we're doing marketing campaigns. We have frameworks and things we use based on psychological principles. But I always say to people, but who knows? We might be proved completely wrong. I always say that to people. I'm like, there is never there's no guarantee this is ever going to work. Like, we just have no idea what's going to happen. Sometimes the weirdest things. And I love that. I just think that's so fun, because imagine if it got to the stage where you just knew predictably, and it's kind of like boring. There's this real fun in like, I have no flipping idea. Like, it usually works, but who knows? Like, this could go any way. We could discover something new,
And that's life, I guess, isn't it? So, I don't
That
know.
is
It's
that
like
is exactly life.
what, what was it? There's a film where like the first scene is like it's like I don't know, they're on this like it's like Hunger Games or something, but they just all wake up there. Like, I know where there's one person that's like, I've been here this long, this is all I know, and Jess described that as like that's what it's like when you have kids. It's just sort of like, look, I don't fucking know. I don't actually fucking know. And it was like, you're just like, I've just been here for this amount of time. These are the things that I've learned. I don't actually know. I was like, that it was, that passing on of information with certainty. You're like, I don't actually. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I've been
yeah.
here this long. You've been here this long. Like, these are some things I'd recommend. Some things I'd not recommend.
That's such a great way of putting it. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's spot on. This is what I've experienced. This is what all my ancestors experienced. But who knows? We might all be wrong. And you see it all the time, right? And like people who talk about these like scientific laws and things, and it's like, yeah, but like literally like every day scientists are saying, oh, actually this theory now disproves this.
Yeah.
And quantum physicists come along and say, oh, we thought we knew about that, but actually it looks like we were wrong. Theories and things are being disproved all the time.
Yeah, and once
Like
again,
we,
like back to the first subject of episode of language, our understanding of that information is limited
yeah,
to the
yeah,
words and the capacity. So we don't, so even when we say like you don't know that, but we also literally don't know it. There's different
yeah.
ways of us how we progress in our understanding of things and our, identity in relation to those ideas, the things that we learn. It's a sort of, I mean, language, yeah, no, like, yeah, exactly that in relation to both of those.
Faux show. Right.
Sure.
58 minutes. I think that's
Fucking
a good
hell.
place to wrap this one up,
Jesus
because I'm
Christ.
flipping boiling.
Are you?
I'm like, it's crazy hot here. You guys, you don't get the heat in Brighton.
No, well, no, it's
You get the
29.
summer breeze.
29. But in the garden, no wind, 29 is too much for me.
Yeah, that's quite a lot.
It's a lot. It's so much.
Sweat here. I'm just sat in a pool of my sweat.
Was that, wasn't that top light green?
Exactly.
Didn't we start that with a top like
Exactly.
this?
Yeah. So we've got a special episode coming up next week, because we're gonna do what are we gonna do? We're gonna do like a kind of live,
Oh, yeah, we're going to do a
in-person,
live show.
genuine session. Maybe we can do some like create some little beats as well on the machine.
Oh, yeah. We've got the machine. Amazing.
Yeah,
We should
you
definitely.
guys might be in for a treat. We might have like a live mix and everything. It's going to be a special edition
Maybe,
session of
yeah,
this could be something interesting.
that's what we've got to put our intention into.
Yeah,
The big live show,
the big live show.
season 12.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to become something spectacular now. Like, wait
Yeah,
and
yeah.
see.
Let's get the full
It'll,
set.
it'll end up being like broadcast on flipping Netflix or something. Yeah, it's going
Oh
to be
yeah.
intense.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Yeah, I like it.
But as always, guys, thank you all for tuning in. And yeah, keep your ears and eyes peeled for the next episode when we're back next week. See you soon.